Returning to Source, a Journey of Breath and Intention. Class 1, Birth Trauma, Separation from and Returning to Source. Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, your guide through this journey of 9 classes on how to incisively address our most primal human challenges with loving intention and conscious breathing. As the circle of our consciousness expands toward the infinite, it aspires to the heights of ascension, and it also takes us to the depths of beingness and all it entails to be divine in human form. This is the stumbling block for most en route to enlightenment. We shall, with courage and shared intention, experience and integrate both the heights and depths of our beings in coming home to the ownership of our source and life transformation. The topic in this first class of our series is birth trauma, separation from and returning to source. Source addresses primordial human questions of who am I? Why do I exist? Corollaries are where do I come from and where am I going? Answers can be philosophical, intellectual, faith-based, emotional, and experiential. These can be satisfying or unfulfilling depending on who is answering and why. In this course, we will favor the experiential approach. Now, our roadmap through this 9-class exploration is detailed in the human body and psyche and is illuminated by the Spirit, which gives life to both. Our job is to read the signs in our body and mind that lead us to increased awareness, freedom, and fulfilled potential. Each class will provide us with opportunities to explore in depth with our own bodies and minds what life in the safe lane would have us bypass, if not actively avoid. We will challenge our institutionalized fears and habits, that is, emotional and procedural memories, that have perpetuated behavioral, feeling, and thinking loops that actually keep us stuck in unsafety. We will employ the levels of consciousness model of spiral dynamics to experience how our relation to source has evolved during our neurological, emotional, mental, and spiritual stages of growth. What is source? The source of a river is the wellspring from which its waters start flowing. So were we to witness this with magical thinking, we might ascribe to that piece of earth the ability to create water. Unless we were to investigate further, we might attribute all creative power to that spot on the planet because that's what our eyes see. Similarly, in finding our source, we could look at birth and assume all creative power to our mother because she seems to be the place on earth from which we sprang. Now, even though we purport to have advanced beyond magical thinking intellectually, we can still end up emotionally giving her credit and or blame for the way we turned out. Or, as we grow, transfer that credit and blame to other mother substitutes like our mates, teachers, friends, or even institutions like the educational system or government. Now, we're still left with the question of where did we come from if it's something beyond the observable mother's womb? Answers from evolving human consciousness. How we seek answers and what answers are satisfying to us depends on the levels of consciousness and beliefs they engender through which we view our lives. As has been quipped, I wouldn't have seen it unless I believed it. An extensive study of this initiated in modern times was begun by Claire W. Graves and further developed by his students Chris Cowan and Don Beck, bringing in cross-cultural data from around the world. In each of our classes, we will explore our understanding and experience of source throughout the stages of our personal development and the levels of human conscious evolution. This will range from the most primitive to the highest of which we're currently aware, and even look beyond. We'll make note of as how we go through each of these levels in which we participate, our growth has evolved through each one of them. Our task in each class will be to discern what remnants we carry with us from each level, what is no longer useful, and how to bring integration to our complex body-mind being in the most efficient and loving way. Level 1 is automatic existence. At this first subsistence level, early humans, that is, early members of our phylogenetic species, which we create as newborn infants, are struggling to achieve stability of their basic physiological systems. Individuals here are simply aware of physiologically determined tension and its relief. Behavior change takes place through habituation of built-in reflexological equipment. Little concept of self is present for most. The major problems encountered are those of primary survival, and the solution to these problems requires an environment in which survival needs are directly available to the organism. The organism adapts to the environmental conditions, providing basic needs through the process of gravitating toward circumstances that promote satisfaction and away from those that portend danger. Learning on the brain level does not take place consciously. Habituation occurs in all living systems and at all levels of a person's neurological hierarchy. Source at this level of being, which is embedded in all our brain stems, is simply what promotes immediate survival. For example, if the roof collapses and I'm buried under rubble such that I can't breathe, instinctively to me at that moment, source is a supply of air, and my whole self takes actions to secure that for my survival. Just the night before writing this part of the course, I had an experience of starting to feel dizzy, nauseated, and weak. All of my tools, affirmations, Tai Chi, breathing practice, drinking water, were of no avail. I was reduced to laying on the floor and breathing. I don't remember this ever happening so suddenly or dramatically in my life. But for me, at that moment, my breath was my link to source. Later, I understood that the depth and power of the advanced energy work I had done that day was doing a radical reprogramming of my nervous system. But in the moment, my brain stem's autonomic survival instincts needed to take over. The breathing technique most beneficial was simply surrender and trust. Forcing anything else would have just impeded the process of re-regulation. All I could do was literally lay on the floor and take one breath at a time and trust my connection to source, just like a newborn infant. So, let's take Class 1, Handout 1, Birth, Breath, and Source Awareness. And in Section 1, write briefly what you know about how you came out of your mother's womb at birth when you were in a helpless state and could do little more than breathe. What was your connection to source, whether you were conscious of it at that time or not? Complete this now and come back to the video. Each month, we'll do an experiential exercise that highlights the level of conscious evolution we're examining within us. This month, it's the most primal of automatic existence. It's important that we use these exercises to bring consciousness to what may be impeding our full potential for the purpose of recovering the frozen energies from past experiences that may have been overwhelming or traumatic to our nervous systems, and therefore stored in what's called implicit-only memory. We are wired for survival by the interactions of our triune brain. When danger is noted by our brainstem, it signals to our midbrain to turn off connections to our higher cortex and to go into emergency reactivity. This makes us hyper-alert and ready for fight or flight. We're all children of those who survived the perils of human existence. Our brains are hardwired for instinctual responses to threat. Now, if fight or flight are not available options, the third survival mechanism is to freeze. That is to shut down all systems into hypoactivity until, hopefully, the threat passes. Animals instinctively unfreeze if and when the mortal threat passes. But humans have the capacity, via higher cortical thinking to repress the integration of the overwhelming event and live in a partially frozen state. This is called trauma. Trauma is not the event, but the nervous system's response to it. Research indicates that about 20% of the population are predisposed to prolonged freezing responses, most likely due to a lack of a secure relational foundation in their childhood. We all experience situational traumas in our lives and can benefit from recovery of trapped energies. These energies are most often recovered by integrating the implicit-only memories through safe relationships, self-forgiveness and acceptance, and rechanneling of the energy into productive and fulfilling endeavors. We shall endeavor to create such an atmosphere and opportunity within our group. We also know that when trauma is severe, more intense work may be required and support from those who can provide it made available. Breathwork has been a major tool for me in assisting those ready to release both minor and major holding patterns in their lives. As we do breathwork exercises over the course of our classes, if anyone ever thinks they are being triggered by stimuli for which they need special support, let me know, and we will look to make appropriate resources available to you. For the most part, the strength of our loving intention and conscious step-by-step progress will develop the skills and confidence to recover whatever you're ready and willing to at the time it arises. And as we share our journeys together, so will grow the vortex of our healing atmosphere. This can be a source of growing revelation and cause for celebration all along the journey, rather than waiting to the end for results. So, adjust your participation to each of our experiential exercises to the level that feels right for you, or postpone participation until it feels right for you. Here's our first exercise. Exercise 1. We will work now with the example of your birth you described in Handout 1, Section 1, with the most simple of breath awareness techniques, which can also be one of the most powerful. First, have the loving intention to go back to that experience for the purpose of recovering whatever energy may still be awaiting your reintegration, for the purpose of restoring full aliveness and health to your body, mind, and spirit. Get yourself in a relaxed sitting or lying position in which you are warm and comfortably supported. We're going to take you through a guided visualization from your early intrauterine life to your birth. Again, get yourself in a comfortable seated or lying position. Start by inhaling your life energy easily from the base of your spine to the top of your head, without pause, exhaling it down the front of your body to the base of your spine. Continue inhaling up your back and down your front, easily, sending a light and loving energy to all your vertebrae going up the back and all your vital organs coming down the front, creating a cocoon of safety and nurturance around your body. Now, within this cocoon, take yourself back to the early stages of intrauterine life. Imagine yourself in a weightless state and being supported by your mother's body, receiving nutrients into your blood and also her hormonal influences and emotional states. Breathe and feel as your body grows day by day. Let go of your adult, critical mind and feel yourself getting bigger and bigger inside the womb. Now bring yourself to the time When space in the womb is getting very tight, movement in utero is restricted, and you start to feel the pressure of birth beginning, but are unable to exit. Your mother's cervix is not dilated yet. Breathe fully. And what is this like for you? Now, as the cervix opens, bring focus to your entry into the birth canal and the effort it takes to be born. How do you feel? In or out of sync with your mother? Can you let yourself fully feel and be supported by the process? What can make this more safe and harmonious for you while you stay in your body? Stay connected with your breath, whether you get images or feelings or not. The trappings are not as important as your connected breathing. Now let yourself start to emerge from the womb. Imagine the rush of sensations and feelings. What can assist this entrance into a new life for you? Stay with the full breath. What thoughts and beliefs about yourself come from your sensations and feelings? How can you be there for the newborn in a way you would have liked others to be there for you? Stay with the process. Be one with the source surrounding you, the infant. Say to your infant what you wanted to hear most. You are welcomed and loved. You are perfect just the way you are. In the spirit of healing, breathe and suggest you are opening the door for a more complete owning of your oneness and safety with Source. Now stay with yourself in that seemingly helpless position, knowing that your Source is watching over and protecting you as you simply become aware of your inhale coming in through your nose, down your trachea, into your lungs, bringing vital life energy to your body. And then your exhale, releasing the breath completely, passing out your lungs, up through your trachea and out your nose. Then without pause, taking in your next inhale and repeating the process. Following your breath in and out, regardless of the mental activity which may or may not go on in the background. For this brief time, nothing in the universe is more important than your next inhale and exhale. Keep bringing yourself back to this continuously with as much wonder and gratitude as you're able to muster, without any judgments on yourself or your circumstances, for the next few minutes, connecting your inhale to your exhale without pause. Now, you may stop the video if you want extra time in this process and come back when you're ready. Now, slowly begin to move your body and bring yourself back to the awareness of your surroundings, noticing your body sensations, emotional feelings, and mental attitudes. And when you're ready, take handout 1, and in section 2, write briefly what you've discovered or more fully realized about your source and how your breath helps you return to it. And then, in section 3, write a simple affirmation about your breath connecting you to source. So complete sections 2 and 3 now and come back to the video. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings. Till next class. Blessings in light and love.